Hi guys. So I've been watching some YouTubes about environmentally friendly cars and how to buy car reviews and all these kind of things. And I think that most cars actually miss the point completely. So I'm going to tell you guys about the car that we've bought and the one that we are going to run for the foreseeable future. It's not a car that's been dreamt up by IT gurus in an office full of pinball machines and yoga balls, and it's not made in a factory inhabited by robots. This is a car that has been designed by designers that know how to build a car for the needs of the consumer, and it's been made by people that knows what it's like to build a real car. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our Volvo 940. So come and sit down and let me tell you a bit about the car. I've got my son filming for me today, so thank you very much for that, Alexander. So right, this is a 1994 built Volvo, built here in Sweden. It's almost 30 years old. It's done about 900 miles. It used to be owned by a guy that collected them, so it was sitting in basically a museum for this car. And I've decided to take it out on the road and drive it. So why did I do that? Well, first of all, this is the cheapest car I could possibly build. It's the drive, and it's I'm going to talk in euros just to make it a little bit more understandable. We paid about 5,000 euros for this car, and since I bought it, I've been offered more money for it. It's going up in value, which is of course not happening with any other car, where you lose a couple of months' salary just starting it up the first time. So, and when it sits there, it doesn't cost us anything. If you buy yourself a brand new Tesla or something like this, it loses value every minute that it sits out in your driveway, and even if you don't build any kilometers on it, it loses value. This one does not. It's the design brief when Volvo made this car. The top three things on it was safety. It was supposed to be fuel efficient, and the third one was serviceability. And this I find very interesting. That third point, serviceability, doesn't really come up in discussion when people make cars today, which means that you as a car owner, there's almost nothing you can do on it yourself. So you're completely in the hands of super expensive workshops, and it costs you a fortune to run a car, which means that after maybe 5, 6, 7 years, the cars become too expensive to own, basically, which I find absolutely horrendous. And it must be shit for the environment that we're supposed to change cars every 5, 6, 7 years. Now this one, I'm not a very I have zero mechanical experience. I don't really know how to fix things, but however, you open the hood on this one and you can actually see exactly how things are put together. There's enough space to fix things on it. So the other day I realized that I needed a new alternator because I couldn't, it wasn't charging properly. I've never done it before. It took me 2.5 hours and I had the new alternator in. That's an example, and I've never done it before. Try that with a modern car today. Forget it. You cannot without computers and connecting, and you need to have God knows what. It's ridiculous. So that's the first thing. I can service this myself even though I don't know how to. I find that really good. The other thing is that this one was actually built for the roads that we have in Sweden. So whoever designed this didn't think about sportiness, or it should be super fast on the highways or those kind of things. It's actually optimized for the roads we have here in Sweden, including the non-perfect ones. So we have potholes in the north, and and this car is perfect for that. It looks very low. There's no four-wheel drive. In fact, it's rear-wheel drive. This is an epic rear-wheel drive car, by the way, but I'll get back to that later. But it was made, the suspension is made for that. It's soft enough to just glide. And to me it's perfect. The size, I am 6'4" or 194 centimeters. So I actually sit really well in this car. It's super comfortable for my size. That's not the case in most cars today. There's proper support and enough adjustment to get comfortable in the car, but not hundreds of different electrical things that can break. Even the windows are manual like this. I drove my son and a friend of his the other day in this one, and his friend asked me what the hell is this? I told him that's how you open the window. He'd never seen a manual crank for a window before, which I found actually made me feel a little bit old, but okay. So fuel consumption wise, it's not so bad. When it runs well, it's I can probably get it down to 0.85 liters per 10 kilometers. And there are of course cars that run a lot cheaper than that these days. But the benefit with this one is that this one was already produced. This one didn't need to be transported from the other side of the globe to be put on the market here. This one was made here in Sweden, and this one was already produced, like I said. Meaning that the longer I drive this one, the longer I keep this one going, the more environmentally friendly it is. I don't think that anything can compete with this one. And the really interesting thing is that you could build this car today as well. If you just change the attitude and realize that quality is what will save the environment, not overconsumption of environmentally friendly plastic crap. That's my view. So let me show you underneath the hood. Come with me, Alexander, we take a look under the hood. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this epic engine. It's a 2.3 liter Volvo red block engine. This one, if looked after, can run for an absolute eternity. It's got a rear wheel drive. Many people consider this the last real Volvo ever built. Rear wheel drive, which means that you have to know how to drive a car, especially in the winter. Super simple. You can even see what every part is. To service it is super simple. I don't need to take this to a workshop unless it's something very special. There's that. Come take a look at the rear seat. Here is the rear seat. So Volvo has a lot of built-in safety. I fit very nicely in the back seat on this one as well, even though I'm so tall. Not that it's important because this is not where I ride, but if I needed to, I could sit here for hours. That's absolutely fine. And come with me and check out the boot space. It's absolutely massive. To show you how massive it is, I'm going to show you how big it is. You see the size of this thing? Absolutely massive. The other day we bought a new table. We couldn't fit it in the back of the Subaru Forester, so we had to take this one to fit the table inside the back. So as far as I'm concerned, this one fills the need of most families with 2 or less kids. You could probably sit 3 in the back as well. In fact, people did before. It runs in any kind of weather, it's perfectly smooth to drive, and it is an absolute money saver because you're not forced to go to a workshop for everything you need, and it's not losing value as it sits in the driveway. That's it. Thank you very much for listening, guys.